Hey guys, it's Mr. Metaverse. I've got a different format for you today. My partner Caroline actually wanted to interview me for episode number 4 and ask some questions as a non-Metaverser about what the Metaverse is, why someone should care about interop, and more. So hopefully you enjoy this show. I think we worked out some of the audio kinks, and I'll be sure to post the audio on the Metaverse Interop podcast as well. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoy this. It's the Metaverse Interop Show. How was that? All right. Hi.
Hi.
I'm so glad we could meet like this.
Meet like this? In this steamy tub?
In this steamy tub. I guess I should preface this as we agreed. I should preface this with this is the Mrs. Metaverse. This is the lovely Caroline, my partner, and I guess a lot of people ask about you and ask if you're into the Metaverse as well. And what would you say?
Say no.
Yeah, Caroline is, more of an outside cat. Gets me outside a lot. I like to think I was an outside person, but Caroline is the real deal. Definitely not a tech person. Doesn't really know how to do most things with apps and software. I think I'm pretty accommodating. I'm never disrespectful.
You're very accommodating.
Good.
But the only reason I have a functional phone is because you keep buying me new technology that works. Otherwise, I just let all the updates pile up until my phone is completely defunct.
This is true. They did turn off.
That's okay. It's really better for audio anyway.
Yeah. We're doing this for you. We're going to sacrifice the jets for you, the viewers. Yeah, that's definitely true. I feel like anytime I've ever picked up your phone or computer for any reason, you have an update pending. It's fucked.
Yeah, every time.
Right. So, when I wanted to start this show, Caroline was very adamant about being episode number 4. And it just so happened
Is this episode number 4?
This will be episode number 4 for the Metaverse Interop Show. So this is like the real deal. This isn't my vlog.
Do.
Yeah, this is the do. This is for all you at home. I guess normally something like this might be on the vlog, but all the brands are so new that I'm just kind of trying things out. But anyways, you wanted to be episode 4, and you specifically requested that it would be an opportunity to just ask me questions.
Yeah, because episode 1 is hey, listen, here's what I'm doing. Episode 2 is here's something interesting. So is episode 3, here's some content. And then episode 4 is for all the people who don't know what the fuck you're talking about, who's trying to get, into it. This is for the people who aren't dazzled by all the 1, 2, and 3 episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of understand what you're saying, where it's any time I would watch any show, I'll give them a few episodes.
Sure, but episode 4 is kind of where you know.
That's where, that's where you might lose me.
Yeah.
There's there's been a couple shows like that. There've been disappointments. Cowboy Bebop, I was ready to defend it. I thought the live action, people are going to kill me for this. I thought the live action Cowboy Bebop was a work of art. So much so that by episode 3, I was tweeting about it. And then they lost me. And I definitely took some flack for defending the show through the first 3 episodes, but it's just one of those things. Anyways, I digress. Today is actually about you asking questions, and I am going to answer honestly. We're going to keep this brief, so maybe 4 questions, I think is what we talked about. I don't know what you're going to ask. 4 is
I will come
appropriate.
up with as many questions as I want to come up with.
You can ask as many questions as you want, but the problem is how much I talk. So let's try to limit it to 4. Your 4 best.
Here's the difference.
Plus the encore.
Listen,
Okay.
Here's the difference, is that the other people, who have you had on this thing so far?
Just me so far. I have
No
some other
guests?
interviews. I have guests and interviews scheduled, but you're the first.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like
Yes.
if it was a guest that is invited to this show, they're gonna let you talk because they are trying to be respectful of you. Sorry, I'm just so sorry.
Don't do that.
Oh, sorry. They're trying to be respectful of you and let you have the floor. But really, we live together and we just had a pizza taco dinner together, and I don't really care.
Right.
So.
It does lower down some barriers. Okay, so what you got?
Okay, give me a...
As someone who's a non-Metaverser, what you got?
Give me a rolling definition. Metaverse. Go.
Rolling definition of the Metaverse.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Coming in swinging. So
what the fuck is the Metaverse?
So the Metaverse, I think people overcomplicate what it is. It's been defined for a while, long before me, right? And the Metaverse itself is really, I think, best summed up today as the digital equivalent of our universe. So, like, let me make it even more simple. Everything digital. PDFs, digital photos, MP3s, video games, VR, AR, those things are all part of the Metaverse.
Of my life, digital? The digital footprint of my life?
The digital footprint of your life would be,
my digital footprint is my Metaverse.
That's your experience of the Metaverse, just as much as your life is your experience of the universe.
So, like, if I... Okay.
The Metaverse is like the universe. It's the
just
digital...
the Metaverse.
The digital
my
sum.
Existence online.
Right. If you break it down, it's like it's beyond. Beyond the verse. Beyond the universe. All the ones and zeros, the data, the locations you were at, the who you were with, what was it? It was a birthday. Every time you've taken a batch of photos on a vacation.
And it knows where I am.
Yeah, like all of that stuff summed up is part of the Metaverse, everything digital. And in the future, it'll make more sense as people build applications that leverage more of the sticky bits or the stuff that like makes the Metaverse not just an app or a video game.
I think is it your digital footprint? Is it your digital footprint and how it meets up with other people's digital footprints?
That is a much...
Because that's such like a 2010 phrase, digital footprint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I understand what that means. Like someone's teacher's going to understand what that means. You know what I mean?
So like, yeah, like a social network is kind of where you're in your terms.
Yeah.
A social network is...
It also is the phone knows where I am when I'm taking a picture. It knows I'm in wherever I am.
Right.
You know, that's part of my digital footprint.
And that's all part of the Metaverse. And I think that's kind of overlooked and not really mentioned so much. Like we just agree to terms of service and don't kind of rule out so much of the stuff. There's a reason why that's what they want, is because that's what makes your experience tied to others in the first place. And so the Metaverse is like the digital sum of all, it's the sum of all things digital. And it began the first time we ever made anything stored digitally.
Because it's always there, it's never going away.
As long as it can be accessed, right?
Yeah.
And I guess I suppose like running local servers, which is kind of going a little bit beyond where we should tone this, but like running your own server, not on the web, but you're running the application at home, like that's still part of the Metaverse.
So is it just like a thing right now? Like why is it that the internet's been around and social media's been around for so long, and then all of a sudden the Metaverse is like a thing, it's like a hot topic, a buzzword, right? All of a sudden, because VR became a thing? Is that what the deal is?
VR has been becoming a thing for over 30 years.
So then why, who cares? If Metaverse is just like what your digital presence is, your internet presence, your online presence, anything online, right? That's been a thing since what, 2000 something? Like really a thing, not like sort of a thing. Really a thing since 2000 something.
Right.
Okay, so then who cares about Metaverse now? Why is that becoming a thing?
Yeah, I think the term is like kind of like cyberspace was, or on the web, or like people, whenever they say websites, you still see people who say www. They feel the need for some reason to say www.janescooking.com. You know, like horrible thing to pull from the air. www.johnsfudge.com. We're gonna go with that one. Ew.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, right? Like, people say that, and it's wherever your, like, colloquial understanding is of technology in the first place, right? So, let me reel it back here. It's not a new thing. It's just a term that many of us have been waiting for to hit. And that's it. It's always been here. Neil Stephenson is the person who first coined the term and used the term.
What year? Do you know what that year was?
The book was first published, I believe, in like 1992.
Oh, so, okay.
I want to say it's in the 80s. It has a total vibe like that, but I believe it's 92, maybe 91.
Okay. Sorry, I put you on the spot there.
All good, whatever. Neil Stevens is the first person to coin the term, and it was in the book Snow Crash, where in the Snow Crash, the Metaverse is kind of referred to as this thing that you access through a headset, right? And so yes, VR really made that.
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One, definitely. Like these things really made it focused on the VR thing because that's the most whimsical and magical.
And that's what people understand because we're so like visual about shit. Like I don't understand that I have a whole presence on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm physically there if I'm looking in VR or video games even. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is that why it's becoming a thing?
I think it's just like the right place, right time. It's where resources are. Like we've hit a certain level of compute. Basically, the technology feasibly is at a level now that we can take some of these things more serious. In like the 90s, VR was like making a real push and damn well should have made it, but it just wasn't convenient enough to make money on.
Yeah,
seemingly.
what were you going to do in the 90s?
Well, yeah, I mean, but the games are cool. They weren't obviously at the same fidelity we have now. And then, you know, it ebbs and flows. There's trade-offs. So like as businesses make new innovations, new technologies, new apps, new games, they're leveraging what's available and maybe they're pushing the limit. But for the most part, no one individual is setting all the terms. They're not defining what technology's capabilities are, what pushing the limit is, what the bleeding edge of design is, what all this stuff. It's usually somebody, you're maxed out in certain levels and you're using other services or products to build your thing along the way. We've just reached a point now that
that makes sense.
The right things have overlapped. So it's possible, it's exciting,
and it's marketable.
Totally, yeah. Like those movies and those books that you're mentioning are
marketable.
Yeah, and they pull at the heartstrings. Like, I mean, in particular, Ready Player One is like the movie is good if you've never read the book.
The book was good.
The book is like it's amazing, and it's a total like not tip of the hat. Just so many things from the 80s and 90s that nerd culture takes that we value.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to cut this music out so that it doesn't get taken off of YouTube, but it is what it is. And the steam's definitely in the lens, but this is totally fun. Maybe it becomes a vlog. Let's film that.
And maybe we take stills from it too. We could take stills.
Totally.
Because who knows if we're even in this.
We're definitely in it. It's just my camera might be getting ruined from all the moisture.
Well,
and
take it. Do whatever you gotta do.
That's a thing that I just thought of just now. It's not something I've been worried about.
Okay.
Okay, what other questions you got?
So
I would like to unplug the speaker if I could, but
we can't. Just whatever. I say just pull the audio off of your camera and use my phone audio. Oh, it's still in the background.
Yeah.
Sorry. See, you don't know what I'm talking about.
All good. That's a good idea.
Whatever.
Okay, what's your next question?
So why should me, who only does 50-year-old mom things on the internet and hike my dogs, why do I give a shit? Or do I?
You don't care.
Okay.
I mean, why should you care?
Sure. Why does anybody care?
I mean, it's kind of a racy question in the first place.
Well, tell me about it.
Your digital footprint, as you're calling it, is something that I think most people in your position take for granted and don't really care about.
Yeah. Well,
you see it as this thing that doesn't matter to you, but it's so significant when you get older and you're looking back at memories. I mean, today you were showing me photos from the condo we lived in 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a condo that we didn't own, that we rented, that at the time you wanted to leave and wanted to go somewhere new, but you were so excited to show me photos today that were taken. And at the time when we lived there and I wanted to take photos, it was kind of sometimes frustrating for you if I wanted to snap a photo, but how much do you appreciate the photos that you have from that time?
It's true, but at the same time I feel because I really don't have pictures on my phone of anything significant. I could look back at this trip and I have 2 pictures of you naked, but that's it. You know what I mean? I don't have any pictures of the mountains. I don't have any pictures of us snowboarding. I don't have anything.
Yeah, it's just not your style. So what I mean is when you do get one of those photos, though, I take most of the photos that you like to post.
That's true.
So you're grateful for it because people like me exist that are helping you preserve your memories. And when you're 90, you're not going to give a fuck that I took the photo. It's just going to be this thing that it's so easy to take for granted for. That's just, because hang on, you're going to look at that photo and think, that's me. I did that. I made that because that's me. But you didn't. You didn't pull out a phone. You didn't care, right? So that's why you should care, is because it will matter to you.
Okay.
And it goes beyond VR. It's all the social networks that you're on or anybody else is on. It's all of the things that the videos or content that you're consuming. It's all streaming live from the metaverse on demand. And that's what makes it so significant. The future, the potential of it isn't stuff that you're really going to care about right now, but eventually when you'll be interacting with friends and catching up with family in virtual spaces, and it won't be as weird. You'll be shopping in virtual spaces just like you do right now on websites. And you might care about what your little avatar looks like when you're walking into the virtual store. Like you might be like, oh, for only $1, I get to have this sweet shoes or something. Like, and it's so vain, but it's an expression of self. And just like how hang on, put that down. Just like how in AOL Instant Messenger, AIM, right? Like we had our usernames, and it was such a silly thing, but people really cared about it. And if you made a username that sounded like somebody else's, they'd be like, who the hell are you, right?
That's true. Okay, so you know how there's that like stupid cliche saying, it's like drinking is borrowing happiness from tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I know, right? What? It's like, what if taking pictures now is robbing happiness from the moment to give you moments when you're 90?
I don't know if it's robbing happiness unless you're a sourpuss about somebody taking your photo.
Well, I'm kind of a sourpuss.
A lot of people are.
Like, if we're on the ski lift and you're taking pictures of the ski lift, I'm like being the old grumpy man, like, about it.
That's you.
That's me, I know. So is that, like, I get it, like, totally. Like, when I'm like...
Because you're not the one taking the photo, so you're not giving up any time.
I know, but I'm giving up time with you that you could be responding to my babble, but instead you're looking at your phone, which is fine. I get what you're doing, and my babble's not important, but I still want you to listen to me.
Totally. What other questions do you have about the metaverse?
That was about it.
Oh. Next question.
Okay. I gotta think.
We get one more.
One more? I'm getting hot.
Yeah. Getting gross.
Should we take a cool dip and then come right back?
Nah.
Well, I'm just saying it from like...
You're not doing anything wrong.
Okay.
This is fun.
Well, I do, like, I like my biggest appreciation for the metaverse is expression, right? Because I am privileged enough not to feel the need to not express myself in the real world, right? That was enough negatives.
I got it.
Okay. I'm okay, but a lot of people aren't, right? And that's the one thing I do really, really appreciate about what you do and what you're saying is that people can express themselves. They can be, if they're not comfortable in their own skin, they can live an entire life in a skin that's custom to their own preferences, right? I'm not sure if there's a question there, but maybe that's something that people don't really take for granted. They hear metaverse and they think, rah, 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 it's too hard. I don't understand what they're talking about, whatever. But it's a...
Well, it's not just cosmetic. I can talk.
No, it's very much a safe space for people, like the safest of spaces, because what's anyone going to do to you? You know what I mean?
Right.
Right?
I mean...
I can present however I want to present. I can say whatever I want. I guess people could come after me for saying things. People could come
They can
after
still
you.
harass you. It still happens.
I guess they could still harass you. But
So-
you can create an entire persona, right?
Totally. I mean, yeah, it's like a... Self-expression's a big thing, and it goes beyond superficial or cosmetic. There's real tangible value in the metaverse that somebody who might not have all the warm and fuzzies about the technology but wants to know, like, all right, show me the money. How do I make money? Why should I care about this, right? Like, that's a big part of it, and that's a major driver. So, like, in that case, it's a new economic system. It's, if you're an artist, you can sell your art and choose to either sell it on physical canvas, choose to sell it through digital means, traditionally,
That's a new medium.
traditionally,
A new profitable medium.
like we always have, through digital means, which if I go run a race, they send me an email that says, here's the 8 photos we took of you, do you want to buy them?
Yeah.
That's always existed. That's nothing new, let's just call that out. But then there's also the blockchain element, which is if you want to mint your art as an NFT, now what you're doing is you're making a decision as an artist that you're going to mint an NFT. So certain people are going to hate you immediately. Maybe because they've done research, maybe because they have not, right? But you're making a decision. Once you've minted that NFT though, there's a whole host of options for you as an artist that previously weren't quite there or weren't as dependable. For example, if somebody resold your art in the physical world, you're probably not going to get a cut. If you do get a cut, you are depending on people to be honest.
That's true. There's a total line to you.
Yes.
Right?
So on the
traceable line.
Once it's on chain, that asset.
Can you tell me what the blockchain is?
Yeah. So let's tell it through continuing my example. Like that asset, people say they can right click and save, right? Totally. If all you care about is having that image saved on your computer, sure. I can also take screenshots. I can run videos through OBS and film a movie and steal a movie if I wanted to. Like, there's always a loophole. That's not the point.
So the same thing as taking a picture of something in a museum?
Yeah, taking a picture of something in a museum is nowhere near ever going to be near as valuable as the real thing, right? So the NFT, what it's doing is it's putting the existence of that asset, whether physical or not. It can be physical too.
Is that also because if I take a screenshot of an NFT, it's not going to be like higher quality, it's going to be a shitty quality that my computer did?
Maybe not. You might be able to download it in the full resolution. You might be able to save it in full resolution. Again, the value is not in if the value for you is having the image in its highest quality.
Is there a way to prove authenticity?
That's the blockchain.
Oh, okay.
So the blockchain is putting the record of you owning that asset on a immutable record. It's on a distributed ledger that's on multiple people's machines. So what that means is that somebody can't come in and just erase that 3 and put a 1, right? Or change the date. Once that transaction occurs, if I'm sending you the art and you now own the art on record, you are the only owner. So if somebody else does want to officially own that art, they have to buy it from you. And that's how it works, right? Otherwise, if somebody just wants to own the art, they can do that. I can go take a picture of a Banksy that's right up the street from here. It doesn't make me
an owner of a Banksy.
An art collector, right? So, but it goes beyond art. I think it gets really conflated with these pictures because we've seen things, take off on NFT, like profile pictures, because it was a very practical thing. It's exactly what you are generally asking for. It's meeting more people where they are, showing them in a very simple way how to create tangible value. A blockchain, though, can be used for, if I want to sell you my house, the deed could go on chain. So now there's no falsifying the deed and who owns the deed, and you find out you bought a house that wasn't really theirs to sell, or a car, or a yacht, or an airplane. These things that are massive assets that have massive amounts of documentation and flight logs and maintenance records and things that you have to keep up with, that if you're buying, you want to make sure that plane's been kept up. If you wanted to, you could put it on chain, and every time a maintenance record occurs, it would store that. And so when you go to buy it, you can see a immutable log that shows all the maintenance records instead of being on paper.
That is cool, because that is cool. Because we do need that kind of stuff.
Right. And it's not burning up a bunch of energy like people think. I mean, you can use eco-friendly chains. There's all different types of alternatives now that exist that have made it way more environmentally friendly than I think it's easy. People want things to be simple. They want to put it in a box. So the people who ruled out blockchain technology, done. Boom. I made my decision. Moving on. Next thing. What's next? AI.
I would use it if I knew how to use it. I don't know.
You're getting at a really important point, right? The money to be made for people today is in meeting people where they're at. It doesn't mean you have to force people to care about the metaverse, but just like how those pictures of apes took off, is it's meeting people where they're at. They weren't trying to sell you virtual real estate and lightsabers. They said, this is your identity. It's also a piece of art,
and I guess
it's limited.
The longer it goes, the more able it will be to meet people where they're at. Like, I'll be playing something on my phone, it'll be like a Facebook ad, like getting a Facebook ad for a store.
Yeah.
It'll be just as accessible as that. You know what I mean?
Ultimately,
like online shopping. Remember online shopping in like 2000, whatever. Mm-hmm. Impossible.
Yeah, it was difficult, and people were like, why would you do that when you can go try on the real thing? What if you get ripped off? What if you get sent the wrong thing?
Shop.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays, like the pandemic, like Amazon benefited tremendously because.
But it did get more accessible and more easier for me to understand. Someone who can't do technology.
Definitely, and that's really where the secret's at. So, if you only had one more question for me, what would it be? Because I'm getting pretty hot.
I'm hot as fuck.
And I think this is already a long, very foggy episode. So if we wanted to round this out strong, what would you ask? Activated.
Where are we going?
Huh?
Where are we going?
Where's who going?
Like, users of the metaverse. Can you use the metaverse? You can use the metaverse.
There's users in the metaverse. People in research and in like HCD or human-centered design want to say to not use the term users.
Is it just gonna make
hang on, let me finish that. Oh. It's too hard to not use the term users. But it sounds like drug users.
Like, is it? Oh my goodness.
So that's why people don't like it.
Oh, okay. Participants. How about that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying users. It is what it is. It's what comes out of my mouth. I've been doing product for a really long time. I've been trying to switch the term. It's not gonna happen.
Is it like the ultimate solution for globalization?
Wow. I suppose so. I mean, that's a really scary ass question because globalization is not inherently good.
What if in like 100 years there's no, I mean, maybe like the separation between countries and different countries' governments is diluted because we're so connected in the metaverse?
I think that is inevitable. That is a really like profound point in question. I don't know if I have very much to add to it because I think the question
But it's
itself,
an interesting thought.
Well, yeah, I think that the thought itself sums up an inevitability from the technology. Like, we are already increasingly getting more connected. I'm in a startup with people from Canada. Like, I think
Canada's not that far away.
Right? Like, yeah. I'm in a startup with people from Canada and also California. Like, and we met through the metaverse. Our office is in the metaverse.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Like, I know that people are at their computer because they're at their desk in a virtual space.
Right now.
And if they're busy, they're not going to be there. I'm not going to heckle them and say, hey, why aren't you guys at your desk? They're busy. They're not there. You can't be talked to. I'll call them on a phone.
Sure.
You know, so that's kind of the beauty of it.
The separations now are because internet's not the same in every country. Yeah, there's different blockers.
Yeah.
So we're not going to access someone from China right this second as easily as maybe we would access someone from Canada or someone from Russia. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Right? I mean, China's for other reasons, but we're not going to go there.
Yeah, but there's different restrictions on access.
Yeah, definitely. So that is it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Looked like we both had fun.
We have to get in the pool before we have heat stroke.
It's too much. Love you. Hopefully you guys liked this, but that's it.
That's all. Goodbye now.